Let's start with the Kraken news because honestly, it's getting the most attention right now even though, it's not a guarantee. Kraken is a major US-based cryptocurrency exchange. They have millions of users, and they've got significant regulatory compliance. They also have real institutional credibility. When a platform like Kraken puts a project on their chains category and their 2026 listings roadmap, that's a public signal that they're tracking it. But, and this is critical, it's not a commitment to list. It's more like a "we're watching this" statement. Here's what needs to happen for Pi to actually get listed on Kraken. Technical requirements must be met. Pi's blockchain infrastructure needs to be stable enough that Kraken can support it without operational risk. Regulatory requirements must be satisfied. Different jurisdictions have different rules about which tokens can be traded. Kraken isn't going to list something that gets them in legal trouble. Liquidity requirements must be reached. There needs to be enough trading demand that Kraken can actually facilitate it without manipulation. These conditions aren't guaranteed, but the fact that Kraken is publicly signaling they're evaluating Pi means the project is on a major exchange's radar. Now here's the context everyone needs. Pi launched in 2019 with tens of millions of users, but most of those users never actually migrated to mainnet. The project has faced delays around KYC verification and open mainnet access. Community sentiment has been mixed. Some people see it as a revolutionary project, others see it as vaporware. Kraken adding Pi to their roadmap is essentially saying, hey, we see what Pi is trying to do. We see the 16 million migrated users. We see the ecosystem development. We're going to keep watching to see if this actually becomes something that's valuable. Not because it guarantees listing, but because it brings institutional attention. It shows that serious players in the exchange space are treating Pi as a real project worth evaluating, not just dismissing it as a joke. For the Pi community, this is a credibility signal. When you can say, Kraken is watching us and we're on their roadmap, that's different from saying we hope exchanges will list us someday. The danger is treating this as confirmation that listing is happening. It's not. It's a signal of interest. Listing would come later if Pi meets the condition. Now, let's talk about what I think is the actually important development, the decentralized exchange and automated market maker launching on Pi's Testnet. This is infrastructure. This is how an economy functions. Without a DEX, tokens can't be traded freely. Without an AMM, there's no way to discover price or execute swaps efficiently. Without these tools, Pi Network is just a ledger. With them, it becomes an actual marketplace. Here's what this launch does. It allows developers to test DeFi features inside the Pi ecosystem. Community members can actually transact with each other. Users can swap tokens. They can test market mechanics. They can provide feedback before these tools hit mainnet. The DEX isn't running on mainnet yet. It's on Testnet. This is the experimental phase. But that's actually the smart way to do it. You don't launch trading infrastructure at scale without testing it first. You test with real users in a sandbox environment. You find bugs. You optimize mechanisms. Then you deploy to mainnet. So, think about what this means for the 16 million migrated mainnet users. They're basically waiting for some real utility. They're holding Pi tokens, and they're validating the network. But what are they actually doing with the tokens? Without a DEX, they can't trade them. They can't really discover price, and honestly, they can't participate in an economy. The Testnet DEX totally changes that equation. It shows what the economy will actually look like once it goes live on mainnet. This is why I think the DEX launch is actually bigger than the Kraken mention. I mean, sure, Kraken might list Pi eventually, but even if they do, users still need to be able to trade Pi on the network itself. The Testnet DEX is the foundation for all of that. The AMM component is especially important. An automated market maker works by having liquidity pools where users deposit tokens. Trades happen against those pools instead of against order books. It's more democratic, it's more efficient. It's designed for retail users, not institutional traders. Pi is positioning itself as a network for everyone, not just rich investors. An AMM makes that possible. You don't need a broker. You don't need to pass a net worth test. You deposit tokens, you can swap them. The Testnet launch shows the team is building toward that vision. 16 million migrated users is the number everyone needs to understand. That's not 16 million registered accounts that might be fake. That's 16 million people who have actually gone through mainnet migration. Migration is a process. You have to do KYC verification. You have to prove you're a real person. You have to move your tokens from the mobile app to the mainnet wallet. It's not frictionless. Some people have complained about delays and issues. but 16 million people completed it anyway. That suggests real demand. That suggests people actually believe in this project enough to complete a multi-step verification process. Now, what does 16 million users want? They want to trade their tokens. They want to discover price. They want to participate in the economy they're helping secure. The Testnet DEX launch is directly addressing that demand. It's saying, here's how you'll be able to trade once mainnet is fully open. This is why the timing of these announcements matters. Kraken signaling interest happens at the same moment that Pi is building the trading infrastructure users actually need. It's not coincidental, it's coordinated. The team is showing exchanges like Kraken. Look, we have 16 million users. We're building real trading infrastructure. We're preparing for scale. From Kraken's perspective, Pi becomes a more credible investment of their engineering resources if the project is actively building the infrastructure needed for exchange integration. So, while all this positive news is happening, Pi's network is experiencing some real challenges. Millions of users are migrating simultaneously, and the network is seeing traffic spikes. Some users are, running into temporary glitches and delays. This is actually important context, because it shows the project is operating at real scale. You don't get network congestion with a small testnet. You get it when millions of people are actually using the system. The Pi core team is aware of these issues, and they're telling users to be patient while they work through it. This is just the reality of building a network at scale, but here's the critical part. They're actively fixing it. Node upgrades are happening. Network capacity is being improved, and the team isn't ignoring the problems. They're addressing them systematically. From an investor or user perspective, this is actually a good sign. It shows the team is managing growth honestly, not hiding problems or overpromising. They're saying, we're experiencing real challenges at scale and we're solving them. This context makes the Kraken roadmap mention and the Testnet DEX launch way more significant. It shows Pi isn't just making announcements, it's managing actual technical challenges while building new infrastructure. That's mature project management. If you're seeing how Pi is building infrastructure instead of just talking about it, you need to, like this video right now. It helps the algorithm reach more people who want to understand actual blockchain development instead of just hype cycles. Plus, share this video with other Pi holders. They need to understand what the Testnet DEX actually means and why it's potentially more important than the Kraken roadmap mention. They need context, not just headlines. Let's talk about the roadmap that connects all these pieces. The end goal is open mainnet. That's when Pi's network becomes fully public, when anyone can join, and when the token becomes more widely tradable. But you can't jump straight to open mainnet. You have to build infrastructure first. You have to handle migration. You have to test trading mechanisms. You have to upgrade network stability. You have to prepare for scale. That's the phase Pi is in right now. Testnet DEX allows developers to build and test. 16 million migrated users are already participating. Node upgrades are happening. KYC verification is ongoing. Exchange integrations are being evaluated, like the Kraken roadmap. All of these pieces are building toward the open mainnet phase. That's not a 2026 event yet, but the infrastructure is being positioned. Here's what happens once open mainnet launches. Anyone can participate, not just migrated users. The token becomes freely tradable on major exchanges if they list it. The ecosystem becomes a real marketplace for Pi-based applications. The Testnet DEX is a preview of that world. Kraken's roadmap is a signal that major exchanges are preparing for it. The 16 million migrated users are the early participants who are proving the concept works. These aren't separate events, they're pieces of a larger puzzle coming together. So, here's my take. Don't get overly excited about the Kraken roadmap mentioned because, honestly, it's not a guarantee. But hey, don't ignore it either, since it signals some real institutional interest. The real breakthrough here is the Testnet DEX. That's not just hype. It's actual functional infrastructure that will underpin Pi's economy. That's what enables the 16 million users to actually use their tokens instead of just holding on to them. Now, the network congestion issues are real, but they're totally solvable. The team is addressing them, and scale always brings challenges. The big question is whether the team handles it professionally. So far, they're definitely doing that. The combination of all these developments, Kraken interest, Testnet DEX, 16 million users, network upgrades, suggests Pi is moving from the announcement phase toward the actual infrastructure phase. This is really the period where most projects either execute or fail. Either the team delivers functional infrastructure and manages scale, or they don't. Pi seems to be executing. Not perfectly, sure. Not without challenges. But still, they're executing. And that's what you should be paying attention to. Thank you for watching this breakdown. Pi Network is reaching the moment where it either becomes a functional ecosystem or just stays a project with lots of users, but no real utility. The Testnet DEX launch really suggests the team is serious about functionality. The Kraken roadmap mention, well, that suggests institutional players are actually taking it seriously. 16 million users suggest there's real demand. Whether Pi ultimately succeeds or fails will depend on execution in the next 6 to 12 months. Can they deliver open mainnet smoothly? Can they get exchange listings? Can they build a real economy on top of the network? Those are the questions that matter. If you want to stay updated on these developments, if you want to know when open mainnet launches, when exchange listings happen, when the testnet DEX moves to mainnet, definitely stay subscribed. We're tracking Pi's progress closely, and we're breaking down the actual developments instead of just the headlines. Check out the other videos on TJ Crypto World. We've got deep dives on network infrastructure, DeFi mechanisms, exchange integration processes, and honestly, everything else you need to understand how real blockchain projects build. I appreciate you watching, I appreciate the Pi community, and I'll see you in the next update.